Hello everybody, it's been a bit of a confusing week in terms of just workload. I'm absolutely exhausted. And because I'm so exhausted, I can barely function. It's Saturday morning here, sometime after 6 a.m. I've woken up late yet again, and I'm just very tired, and I don't know what's causing it. I think I might be a bit deficient in, I think I've got a vitamin D deficiency, let's be honest. So I think that's what's causing it. So I'm just tired at the moment. And I'm just trying to take things easy. Rose. Oh, thank you, Rose. Right, so I'm just going to do some writing this morning, so anyone who would like to join me, please do. I'm still working on good old Heathens, and this is what's keeping me going at the moment. This is keeping me waking up and just keeping, because I'm just so exhausted, and I'm not sure what's causing my exhaustion. But we reckon, the doctor reckons I'm a bit deficient in something. But I've had a blood test, and I think vitamin D is going to come up very, very prominently as a deficiency, because there hasn't been much sunlight where I am. So, going to get a bit of a shock there. So I'm using my nib today. I thought it would be a good time to celebrate the nib. Castu, I have several books actually. I have this series I'm writing at the moment. So that's Heathens, by the way. It's flipped, but when on the replay it'll be flipped the other way. I also have, this is my favourite series, but I wrote this quite a few years ago, The Dwellers Beneath the Arches. That's book 1. That's book 2, Browning House. And then book 3, The Longest Night. And I absolutely just adored writing this. It just allowed me to live out my teenage fantasies and all the things I wished would happen when I was a kid, but in a darker sense. So this is all fantasy. And then I have and everything's falling. I have Coates, and Coates is dark academia. So this is more dark academia rather than fantasy. It's about a boarding school in England. There's Black Coats, The Fall of the Reds, and then My Brother's Keeper. I need to actually get better at putting them up on the channel. I'm not very good at that. So at the moment I've got 2 series. I've got 2 completed series and 1 series I'm currently working on. Hello, hiya. So if anyone wants to write along, please do. I've been using my, I'm just using good old standard paper at the moment, just cheapy paper because it works. Why not? Morning, Bethany. Will you be doing any writing today? Oh yeah, I got this as a Christmas gift. It's supposed to be glass, but I love it. And it writes quite well, and it holds the ink quite well as well, so I'm loving it. I also like this one. And this is pretty solid. It's a pretty solid pen, and I just love it. It's so solid. And it writes really well as well. But I want to try, I'm going to see what I tried today. But it's got, one of my students got it for me. Morning, Reese. And it pops in there. And it's like, wow. And it fits perfectly. Actually, it's one of my South Korean students who got it for me. And it was such a lovely gift. Because I think she'd watched me for ages. And she knew I love writing. Because she never asked me, but she just always watched me. And she always saw me, because sometimes I bring out some ink during a class, and one of these, and I start writing, and I think she just observed. And it's amazing. She also got me, as a gift, this. Isn't that cool? I mean, I put the stickers on it because I act like I'm 12, but isn't that gorgeous? So this is mine. I just stuck it on. I have a sticker back there as well, but it's a little notepad. And yeah, it's a notepad, but I haven't put anything in it yet because I don't know what's going to go in. But I just want to organize it so I can put my ideas down. But it's more craft paper in here. So I don't know how I'm going to use it. Maybe I stick, because I mean, actually that's craft paper. That's quite like hard cardboard. But this is writing paper. So I could actually write in it, I suppose. Oh, and this is lined paper as well. Yes, I could put ideas in this, but I love it. So I put some stickers on it. Because I was never allowed stickers as a kid. Not because, you know, my parents were strict or anything, but they didn't want us, putting stickers on books because, you know, books are quite valuable, so now I've put stickers on. So I'm living out those childhood dreams. Actually, these are not expensive. I got this in a very random shop in Kenya. I got this in a random shop in Kenya. A lot of these I got in Budapest. These are a lot lighter, but I got these in Budapest, where I am now, in Hungary. And there's really nice furniture. There's a really nice, what do you call it? A stationery shop. And it looks amazing, and they come in different colours as well. So I do want to go back. But they weren't expensive at all. So they are fairly cheap now to come by. And these write really well. And I think the brown is my favourite because it just has that amazing look to it. I mean, the red, if you look at the red, it's where it's touched the ink, it's starting to lose the paint. So I think I just have to paint it again, but I love it. But this is I love this as well, but this is fairly heavy and fairly solid. If this fell on your head from a height, it would completely, like, I think it'd probably kill you, so. British background. I was born in London, but I'm Nigerian. So I'll say I'm British Nigerian. Not born in London. But I grew up in Nigeria. Okay. So, I'm going to do some writing now. Yeah, I like it. Everyone should have a writing nook, Dale. A writing nook is very important. Or a creativity nook where you can just go and be creative, write. Very, very important. But I guess I live on my own at the moment, which is nice, but a lot of people might not have access to the space. But it's important to have a creativity space. So this is a short story I've been working on, and it's gone quite well. And the issue with me writing short stories is that I always want to go further than the short story. I always want to expand on it, and I always want to do a lot more than I need to. Thank you, Dorothy. So this was supposed to be a short story and a bit of writing practice. So far, ignore the title. It says The Whispering Room, but that's a working title, and it's a terrible working title because it has nothing to do with the whispering or room. I might try and amend it later. So I've written 14 pages of that. That's probably backwards, if you know what I mean. But at the moment, I feel like I want to expand it to, it can be something bigger, and this is the issue with my thinking. I always write a short story, and then I always start to add to it, and it becomes something bigger. When I first wrote The Dwellers as a child, I wrote this first as a child, it was supposed to be just a short story. And it was supposed to be a short story about these creatures that live beneath London. And then it just expanded, and then it became 3 books. So it became 3 books, that's book 2, and then that's book 3. And now, because I built this entire world in it, there's also a parallel series, which we're working on in the background, because I made so many references to, because the whole point of The Dwellers is that they move. So let me read the blurb for the first book. A family tragedy sets Asha on a peculiar vow of silence until she meets the Dwellers, a community transported to our time from old London. The Dwellers are in search of a missing part of their world, last spotted in 1821, when they were being hunted by the runners. Okay? Asha reunites with her estranged childhood friends, Sarah and Jonathan, to aid in the search, but they find a new enemy, stalks the Dwellers. They are from modern-day London, they are very determined, and they might be more dangerous than the runners ever were. They are the Minds. So I wrote, so there's a parallel world to this one, still in 1821. So what we've decided is that that can be a separate series on its own, occurring at the same time as this one. So it's fun, it's challenging, but it's fun, and I love it. Hi, Bethany. Oh, you have Harry Potter stickers. Okay, I wasn't a Harry Potter person. I don't know. I just like dark. I don't think Harry Potter was dark enough for me. Even though they tried to make the movies quite dark, I think, yeah. But, yeah, anime stickers, yeah. I didn't grow up in anime. I grew up more in, I think, is it manga? I think I grew up more in manga, which I shouldn't have been watching anyway. Because I was too young to watch manga, but... Is your inspiration for the short stories to be on stage or screen one day? None of the above. The inspiration for the short stories was to have a break from my main writing, from writing the book, because I'm writing Heathens at the moment, and the inspiration was to step away from Heathens. Just have a break for a few days. But because I need to keep writing, I can't stop. I thought, I'll just write a short story. But then now, because I think of my imagination, you realize that it can be so much larger than a short story. And it's just writing practice, just to keep me writing, exercise my hands, my brain. It's something I have to do because I find it very easy to do. Yeah, I find it a bit difficult to switch off sometimes. I'm always... But I don't think it's a negative thing, Reese. I think it's... I don't think it's a negative thing. I think it's just I'm always looking for inspiration. I'm not always looking for inspiration to write. I just always see things and I think, oh, like for example, I saw a man on the bus yesterday, and I thought, oh, he'd make a good villain. I don't know why I thought that, but that's how I think. I think in terms of everything I see inspires something else, or anything I see gives me an idea. So, and I think that's why it's very important for people not to lose that childlike curiosity. You know, I think it's very, very important because I think that's what keeps you going, and that's what keeps all the ideas coming. Whether you make money from them or not, but it just keeps you going. So I think it's really good it's a really good exercise to have. Manga is basically the comic book of the anime. Right. Okay. So we just used to watch a lot of manga. So, okay, so it should be called anime, not manga, is what. That's interesting. Maybe he was a villain, maybe, but it was just something about him, the way he moved. And I just had an entire scenario in my head about him. I just had an entire scenario in my head about him and what he was capable of, which is quite judgy, but not in a sinister way, in a more fantasy, storybook, fairy tale sort of way. So I hope he wasn't really a villain in real life, but I doubt it. He was just a guy trying to get to work. But yeah. And what happened with him was we were on the bus and the the ticket inspector was coming through, and we're all standing there, we're all sort of turning to show her our tickets, and so she can scan it, and he just kept his head facing the door with his hood up, and he knew the exact moment she turned up, and he just showed her his thingy without turning, and she looked at him, but he didn't. He just kept facing the door, and he just showed her his ticket and put it back in his pocket and just kept staring at the door. He didn't flinch, nothing. It's very interesting. I don't believe you, you're bullshit. Okay. Here's Rick in a lovely state of mind. So let's get rid of that person. Right. I'm the same with electronics repair. I feel addicted to it. I watch videos about it before I go to sleep. Okay. It must be something you really enjoy, at least to think about electronics repair that often. I guess electronics, I think if you're passionate enough about something, it does come through. Dorothy, absolutely. Do you journal your thoughts as well? No, I don't. I just, rather than journaling my thoughts, I just put them on paper. So I guess this is my way of journaling, just writing. I just write reams and reams of paper, and this is my way of journaling, but I don't actually have a separate journal, no. I have a gratitude journal, but that's it. But I don't have a separate journal for my writing. I just journal I just write the story. So for example, that guy yesterday, he's a possibility, and because I've seen him, he's now in my memory bank. That's probably not the right term, but I've stored him away in my head. So he's there. And the important thing is, you remember all these people. You don't realize you do, but you do remember them. And when you need them for a story, you need something, you just remember the little incidents that happened. And that's why I say to people, it's always so important to, even though you want to write and you want to be... Sorry, one of my dogs seemed to be eating something and I got a bit nervous. And that's why I say to people that when you want to be isolated, you can be as isolated as you want as a creative, but you absolutely have to go into society, because that is where you get just walking through a street, a busy street, okay, anything, that's where you get inspiration from. You know, because you have to interact with society to a certain extent. Because you will see people, different colors, different sizes, different face shapes, and you'll make up entire stories about them. Once again, these aren't stereotypical stories, but as a fantasy writer, they will stoke different emotions in you, and you just write them down. It is, but that's why I say that writing is very therapeutic, and more people need to write, because I think for a lot of people, it could represent a form of therapy. Do you watch things about serial killers and murders, etc.? I follow an interesting channel on YouTube called Descent into Darkness. It's about dark historical events in England. No, I do watch serial killers and murder documentaries. I watch, I watch a lot of the big YouTube channels. I watch Dark Curiosities. That chapter, the bigger channels. I watch the body cam channels as well. I find them quite fascinating. And honestly, a lot of the things that these people do, and a lot of what the police officers see, a lot of the crimes are more horrific than anything any writer, any thriller writer could write about, or murder mystery writer, or even fantasy writer. So it's actually tends to be a lot worse. I'm not saying a lot, but I do like the serial killing documentaries. I also listen to Serial Killers on Spotify. It's a very, very good podcast. And the woman, I think her name is Vanessa Richardson. She's one of the presenters or orators or whatever. She presents it, and she's so good. Her voice is amazing. It's very it's just, I love her voice on it. It's just very authoritative, informative, but just strong. And I love listening to serial killers on Spotify. That's also very good. And I listen to it whilst I go for genteel walks with my dogs. And that, funny enough, that helps me relax. I don't know why. Maybe something's a bit awry with me, but no. And I want to start listening to audiobooks again, because I'm reading a lot at the moment. And I've just picked up a new book by an African-American author. I can't actually, forgotten the name of it, but it was handed to me yesterday, so I want to start reading that. I just finished an Agatha Christie book, which was a bit long-winded, and I kind of wish I hadn't started it now, but I did finish it in the end. I'm trying to finish every book I read rather than stopping and chucking it away. Yeah, I often think about that. Police and paramedics, etc., must see some horrible things, and police who have to watch flagged videos online. Yeah, but this is why I think that if your job is stressful, or if your job is stressful, you have to have access to writing, and it's a shame that literacy is going down so much in terms of reading and writing, because I think this is what people need when times get tough and when everything's chaotic around them. They need to be able to read, they need to be able to write, and they need to be able to journal their own feelings. And we're not doing enough of that at the moment. And we are using other methods. Don't get me wrong, there are other ways of dealing with, stress, but, such as exercise. But I do feel reading and writing are extremely, extremely crucial. And it's something that is not seen as fashionable at the moment, but I think is very, very important. Extremely important. Yeah, they probably will do. They probably will do. I don't envy them at all. It must be so difficult. So I just tend to write onto A4 paper. I prefer lined paper. I did a little experiment with unlined paper, and it was a bit of a disaster because my writing is never quite straight. So I should have some more ink coming because I'm very... Oh, this bottle seizes up quite a bit. So sometimes I use ink, sometimes I don't, but it just depends. Okay, so if anyone wants to write anything, please do join and write along. I've heard of the ID channel. I haven't actually watched anything on it. I have heard of the ID channel. I've heard of 48 hours as well. And I find it funny when people say, these Americans saying it, but I better do this before I end up on 48 hours. So I guess it's a way of, I think everyone who's gone missing or is subject to a crime ends up on that channel, which is quite sad, but it is a funny saying. Is it called the first 48? The first, I haven't heard of the first 48. I've heard of 48 hours. Is it 48 hours? Or the first 48? Let me have a look. I'm pretty sure it's 48 hours, not the first 48. The first 48. Oh. Oh, yeah, no, so the one I watch is 48 hours, yeah. And they have so many crimes on there. And I love true crime with Ana Garcia. I love Ana Garcia. I'm her biggest fangirl. She used to do, it used to be called True Crime Daily. It used to be called True Crime Daily. And now it's called True Crime, so they changed it. It's called True Crime News. It used to be True Crime Daily. And she used to do this podcast, this daily podcast. And it was, not daily, maybe every few days, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, obviously, it's a shame about the crimes, but and she's like an investigative reporter, and I love watching her. Descent into Darkness. Okay, let me try Descent into Darkness. And let's bear in mind, I use these to relax me, which is insane, but... So yeah, there are so many channels now. Descent into Darkness. It seems fairly new. Like a fairly new channel. An in-depth look at some of the most horrific events throughout history, focusing on things such as serial killers and catastrophic events. Oh, I'll have a look at that. hubby and I actually watched a marathon of it on our first date. Yeah, I think a lot of men don't seem to like the serial killer, the whole they can't handle the crimes, which is interesting. But they seem to be more watched by women because when I've mentioned it to friends of mine, they've looked absolutely horrified by the thought of watching a serial killer documentary. No, I don't write spicy books, Rose. I'm absolutely terrible at writing spice. I just don't have the. I could write spice if I focused on it, but I think that I would have to think about it. Whilst what I write now, I don't have to think much, which sounds a bit silly. I do think, but it's an easier workflow. Whilst with spice, I would have to plan and think and, because it doesn't come as naturally to me. Writing fantasy and writing dark academia comes a lot easier, if you see what I mean. Law and Order SVU, Special Victims Unit. Yeah, they had some really dark crimes on there as well. I'm thinking of rewatching it, the older ones with Benson and the other person. But they had some really dark crimes. My goodness. And a lot of the kids who came on there were very sociopathic, which was very disturbing. Yes, Elliot. And that's why I preferred the series that came out of the US, because I found I don't know if they were more sensational or they were more series based on things that actually happen in the US, because the crimes you get, the crime series you got in the UK where I used to live, they were just very, they weren't sexy. They were created to be more very natural. No sexy lighting, nothing, very grim and dark. I know Luther came out, and quite a few people liked Luther, but I found Luther way too dark. It was very, very dark. Luther was the one with Idris Elba. That was very, very dark. Yeah, and I think they never finished that either for some odd reason. This ink is a lot thicker than I thought it would be. Yeah, I know you have a lot of strange crimes in the US. I mean, I think strange crimes happen worldwide, but I think in the US, for some reason, because of different factors, you have some very strange. I think one of the recent ones I heard about was the poor guy. Was the poor guy who went camping? Was this in somewhere Montana or Colorado, like camping country? And he went camping, and his girlfriend was supposed to join him. And when his girlfriend arrived, she saw that he'd been mauled by a bear, like he'd been ripped apart by a bear. And the police were called, mountain people, whatever, and they came and they said, oh, he's been attacked by a wild animal. But then when it went to I think maybe the coroner or the pathologist, they said, no, he was attacked by a human being. So then they realised it wasn't actually a wild animal because the scene was so grisly, they thought it had been a wild animal, but it had actually been a fellow human being. And it turns out that, they caught the guy who did it, but it turns out that he'd seen another camper, he'd invited him to have a beer, just to have a beer, have a drink, and the camper had just decided to kill him, which to me is bizarre. And it's just strange. It's just the strangest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I think he killed him because he was in his spot. He'd taken his camping spot without realising it. And it was just the strangest story. And if you told me that it was a real story, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have said, oh, you're fibbing. Hi, Sagata. The writing is going very well, thank you. And it's going very well. I'm very happy with it. I have way too many ideas, and I'm trying to get them in order. I think Roald Dahl, I still can't pronounce. I think Roald Dahl used to write dark stuff like Lamb to the Slaughter. I think so. Yeah, I think he was quite dark as well, wasn't he? Yeah. I found The Witches, I didn't read the books as a kid, but I watched the movie. That was the first version. That was terrifying. Okay. So luckily, I'm not attracting too many trolls at the moment. The movie was, are you talking about the first movie or the second movie? I haven't seen the second one with Anne Hathaway. I've only seen the first one. And the first one was chilling. Especially, it was very cold. Yeah, there's a part two. They've remade it with Anne Hathaway, but I don't know how good it is. I know the first one was pretty brilliant. Well, yes, there is a part two. Yeah, it would definitely have been hello, Habib. It would definitely have been the first one. Definitely, definitely. The first one was very chilling. It was very chilling, and it was yeah, it just sent a chill down your spine. Ah, thank you, Wildman. He had a book called Boy. It was sort of an autobiography. I love that one. Yeah, I haven't read a lot of Roald Dahl, so I don't. But I don't read a lot of his books. But yeah, I know he's supposed to be a really good author. Yeah, I'm still doing writing prompts here, but I'm not doing writing prompts today. Not today. Probably in the next live stream. Today is just general writing chit chat thing. But actually, I am going to start scheduling the videos that are going to be writing prompts and the videos that are just going to be just pure writing videos. And then I'll have a writing live stream coming out as well. So like a 24-hour continuous live stream for the people who just want to write. It's actually fairly interesting. Oh, thank you. I wish it could be better, but this is what I have to contend. I wish I just had a separate writing room, but at the moment this is part of my living room. Oh, I used to ride. I don't. I used to own horses. Sorry, I used to own horses, but I don't have horses at the moment because I'm sort of in between countries. I'd love to own horses again, but to own horses, you have to be in a very stable position, and I'm sort of moving around a lot. So at the moment, I'm just sort of, when I want to ride, I just go to a stables or a. So I haven't been able to ride since I've been here because it's a bit out of the way. But yeah, I actually miss riding quite a lot. Yeah, stable position, exactly. Exactly. Oh, yeah, that's a very dangerous way to dismount. uh, I guess you must have panicked or something. Yeah, horses are pretty strong creatures, and they can carry a lot of weight as well, especially if you're on the right horse. It's fine, and they sort of need to work. A lot of animals need to work, or just have some sort of purpose, like humans. So the issue with this is it doesn't hold much ink. You have to dip it. So I think it might need a different type of ink. I have to find out. But it just doesn't hold much ink. I don't know why. So I have to dip it every few, like, seconds. Which I find a bit annoying sometimes. Hello, Caleb. Yeah, if they're happy and well cared for, it's fine. If they're happy and well cared for, that's absolutely fine. Hi, Oster. Ah, 6 star. Okay, 6 star. But if the horses are happy and well cared for, that's not a problem whatsoever. It's if you have thin, emaciated, hungry-looking horses, that's when you have a problem. So I'm going to switch pens now because this just doesn't hold enough ink. And I have a feeling I'm using the wrong ink for it. Whilst this holds on to the right amount of ink. So I don't know why it just flows off it too easily. So I wonder if it's just the quality of ink I'm using. Yeah. So that the Japanese use for calligraphy. I don't know what the difference is, but this has come from a different continent. This has come from Asia, and what I normally use, I think, is from the US. So there might be a difference. You might be, but I don't know the difference in the ink because I've always just used the US brands, and I wonder because this is a lot heavier, and this is what I have to figure out. Because these work very well together, and these have both come from Asia, but this is I think this I bought this in Kenya, but I believe the nib is German. Yeah, the nib is German, and it's really good quality. It's amazing quality, but I think that there is a difference because I know that calligraphy they use a certain ink. I do know that, but I'm not sure because this is a lot heavier, I think. Bye, Reese. A short story, Mohammed. I write short stories. Let me just put that away. Oof, that's messy. Do you ever dream about any of your stories or imagine yourself as one of the characters? No, I don't dream about any of the stories at all. Luckily, I don't have dreams at all, and I'm very grateful for that. I know that a lot of people talk about dreaming about their stories, which sounds terrifying to me. Luckily, I don't have any of that. I'm very, very happy. I don't have these experiences because I think it'll be quite terrifying to dream about half the stories are right, because half the stories are right, they're more fantasy and they are very, very, a lot of it is dark fantasy, so you'd be scared out of your wits' end. You'd be terrified. So I would never want to have a dream about any of these stories. I like writing them, I love writing them as long as they stay on this side of things. But I don't dream often, which is good. I don't dream often at all, so. Okay, I'm going to end the live stream there. Today was just a test to figure out why, because my live streams had gone wrong, and YouTube said I had to figure them out, but it turns out I'd unlisted all my videos. It's a long story, so I must have pressed the wrong thing when messing around with the channel, but now I've figured it all out again, so it's all working again. But yeah. So I'm going to end the live stream there today because I'm absolutely starving. Well, I'm not starving, I'm hungry. And I'm going to go to a cafe and get like some breakfast croissant or something, or some cake or something fatty. So I'll be back on tomorrow, and I'll see you all in the live stream tomorrow. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, and if you are writing now, please do keep on writing. Yeah, I'm so hungry. But see you tomorrow. Bye.